right. Well, we're going to have a little bit smaller of an audience today because I've got two people from the audience that normally are reading or watching with us now with us on stage. So here we go. We got Colton and we've got Adele. They are normally these guys are on our Patreon and they're normally in the audience. But today, because Jonathan's going to be about half an hour late and Luke has a migraine, so he's not going to be here with us today, I've asked them to join us. So here they are. You guys want to tell us a little bit about yourselves, your history with Hebrew, and why you're with us? Now, Colton, let's start with you.
Sure, yeah. So, first of all, my name's Colton. I currently live in Kentucky in the U.S., for those that aren't over here. And then I started taking Hebrew when I was in college. So I did 3 semesters in college, kept doing it in my master's program all the way through, and then Hebrew Bible was pretty much what I focused in during that time. Eventually, the goal, not sure how distant or near it is at this point, but goal is eventually to get a PhD in this stuff. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Adele. I'm in upstate New York. I'm Coptic Christian. For a few of you that know what that means, but I'm Christian. I just like or love the Hebrew language. My dream was to pray the Book of Psalms in Hebrew, in its original language. I got hooked by Jason about 4 or 5 years ago, and we been studying the Hebrew language together, and a few other classes I had outside of that. I am just here for the love of learning. I'm not here to have a degree, anything like that, but I love it, I enjoy it, and I believe it has helped me tremendously spiritually and theologically also. I just like the lifelong process of learning Hebrew.
Well, welcome, you guys. I'm excited to have you here, and thanks for filling in. And if at any point you get tired or bored, you're welcome to cut out. I'm not obligating you to hang on for the whole session, but welcome. We're basically, let's talk quickly about where we are in the book of Joshua, because sometimes when you're going verse by verse, you can get a little bogged down and forget where you are as far as the context is concerned. If we pull up Bible Gateway, because it's free and easy to use, look up Joshua chapter 1. Let's just look through just to remember where we are. We're in chapter 5 today, starting in chapter 5 verse 7. So if we look at chapter 1, we had Joshua installed as the leader. That means that of course Joshua replaced Moses after his death in the eyes of the people, and as the leader of the nation, as it was just becoming nascent, I guess. It was just being born. Chapter 2 told us about what happened with Rachav, the Isha Zona. Hi, Muriel. Welcome. Who basically saved the lives of the spies who came to spy out Jericho and the surroundings. And they were told, they told her that they would save anybody inside of her household once the city was taken. Chapter 3 was the crossing of the Jordan. This kind of went slowly, but it's because we just finished with the whole, when the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, right? So it still talks about what they did with the crossing over with the Ark of the Covenant in chapter 4, and then taking the stones from the middle of the dried riverbed to set them up as a matzeva, some kind of monument. So we are in chapter 5, and we just read last week about Joshua beginning to circumcise the people. So the people that had come out of Egypt were circumcised, but those who had wandered in the desert had failed to circumcise their children, and therefore they needed to be circumcised before entering the land to take it over. And that's where we find ourselves in chapter 5, verse 7. So who would like to get us started with this verse? Or shall I get us started?
It's a short one. I can start that one. How about that?
All right.
Ved benim hakim tachtam otam mol Yehusha ki aralim hu ki lo melo otam bidarchecha bidarchech
Badarech.
Badarech. So I'll try to translate that right on the spot here. Benehem, not Benim, Benehem, Vayed Benehem. And Hakim come from Kom, it's Hifil.
Yep.
So, and their children who were lifted, stood up. Hakim, I've never seen this.
Well, it's not passive, right? It's not passive. It's it takes the subject.
So the children whom they were stood in their place, that Yehusha or Joshua circumcised, Otam Mol Yehusha, right?
Yeah, Joshua circumcised them.
Yeah.
So the Hakim is active. He raised up. He caused them to stand. He raised them up.
He caused them to stand up. Okay. Okay.
In their place.
In their place.
Otam mal Yoshua.
He who Joshua circumcised.
Yeah. What about the verb, the placement of Otam?
It's
if we're thinking of word order.
Sure, correct. So it should be Mol Otam Yehusha, but I don't know why Otam is fronted like that.
Right. Well, it's topicalization, right? It's pulling the direct object in front of the verb, left shift or left dislocation.
Okay. Ki alim for they were circumcised.
Not circumcised, but the opposite.
For they were not circumcised in the way. Okay, yes.
Like on the way, yeah?
On the way.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, so arel is the opposite of circumcised. The word for circumcised is nimol. Nimol, it's like a nifal. How do you write this? Where is my nimol? Nimol. Arel is somebody who has not been circumcised. So the actual part that is cut off is called orla. Orla. That's the foreskin, the part that's cut off. And this is a closed syllable, orla. All right. He raised up their children in their place. That is by bringing them through the desert. I think this is God here. God raised up their children, brought up their children. And Joshua circumcised them. That is, the them is emphatic. It's topicalized because it's referring to them. Joshua circumcised them, for they were not circumcised, because they had not circumcised them on the way. On the way, meaning as they traveled in the desert. Very nice.
May I add something quickly, if I may?
Yeah, sure.
So the orla with the ayin, so it comes also from Arabic, but the letter ayin it could be pronounced actually really as ra, not ah.
Mhm.
And also like
Mhm.
for ana, if you look at Halot, and the very bottom there's ghana, which means he sang. It's very rare expression of words. So in Arabic, Allah is ghorla, and it's have the same exact meaning, which is foreskin. Ghorla means orla in Hebrew.
And it means the same thing as what? As she said?
It's the foreskin. The foreskin of ghorla.
Ah,
It's mean.
it's the same word.
It's the same word.
Very nice.
But instead of orla, it's ghorla.
If we think about word order at the beginning, 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗡𝗥𝗚𝗧 is also topicalized. It's raised, right? It's brought up before the verb. 𝗥𝗘𝗦 is the verb. So, and their sons he raised up in their place. So very nice, very cool word order. Good. Next one. Any questions from the watchers? The watchers. It's,
ominous sounding, isn't it?
what do they call the watchers in the book of Enoch, right? Yeah, I don't even know what they are. I have no idea. I don't get into that stuff, but I know they exist in this. In the yeah. So, any questions before we move on? Oh, we're good. In the comment section. No, nothing right now. Okay. All right. Another short one. Colton, you want to take it?
Sure. ויהי כאשר תמו כל הגוי להימול, ויש תחתם במחנה על חיותם. There we go. Get that in there. So the be left untranslated. I'm going to translate it just because I want to acknowledge it's there. But and it was as they finished, as all the nation was finished. Okay, I know what I'm trying to say. They completed to be. This is really wooden. Sorry. They were finished to when you finish circumcising, they were finished to be circumcised. That's weird. We'll come back. Yeah. I'll figure that out. They sat. I know
this is odd. I would say they sat in their place. It's it's an odd expression, but it means that they didn't get up.
Yeah.
Like they stayed where they were because they were hurting.
Yeah. In the camp until their until
they're living. It means when they healed up. Lichiot, to live. Lichiot.
Yes.
You know this?
Okay. I cut out for a second.
Until they're living, meaning they're healing.
Okay, I did that right. It's just a weird turn of phrase I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So it is.
The word tamu we had again at the beginning of the chapter, right, when they had finished crossing over the river.
In retrospect, I shouldn't have translated that first word at all, just because it messed it up. But yeah. If I were to smooth that out and probably do something like, after all the nation were finished, were complete. After the whole nation was circumcised, that might be. I don't know.
When all the nation had finished being circumcised.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't figure out my English.
Passive.
The lahimol is that nifal, or is it?
The imol is nifal. Yeah, it's passive.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. I want to look up in maybe in DCH how they would take chaya or lichiot. Maybe they say they would say it means recover, revive, recover. when it's
Okay.
intransitive. It means to live or to remain alive, but
Mhm.
if you're sick and it means getting better, then it's recover or revive. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Good. Anything weird about word order? Kasher tamu. Tamu is following kasher, the subordinator. That's normal. Vav consecutive vaishavu. Vav consecutive is it has to be in that position. Can't be anywhere else, basically. Although we did find a verse in Deuteronomy where the vav consecutive was not in first position. Very cool. All right. So verse 9. Any questions? Please stop us if you need. Because I'm watching that comment section and I do want you guys' feedback, or you can talk to each other. I should have mentioned at the beginning that I have a head cold, and so if I'm kind of down, it's not because I'm not good, it's because I'm fighting what's going on inside of my sinuses. Am I to understand that Goy can apply to the nation of Israel as well as to other nations? Yes. Goy means nation, and Israel is called Goy Gadol and Goy Kadosh in the Bible. It's a holy nation. It's a great nation that is used of Israel. It's a pity that non-Jews are called Goyim. I wish we had a different word. Lo Yudim. Okay. Vayomer. Well, let's start. Beginning. Vayomer Adonai El Yoshua Hayom Levi Galoti et cherpat Mitzrayim me'alechem. ויקרא שם המקום ההוא גילגל עד היום הזה. Okay. I'm sorry that I'm going to be coffee and nasty the whole time. So let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, so obviously the beginning, Vayomer Adonai El Yehoshua. This is said again and again. God said to Joshua, just like before, God said to Moses, God said to Abraham. So this common phrase, Vayomer Adonai El Yehoshua. Hayom. Hayom is the day, but it is used to mean today. Today. Galoti. This is from Gimel Lamed Lamed. Let's write that. Gimel Lamed Lamed. Notice the dagesh in the Lamed. Galoti. It means I have rolled. Legalgel is how we say it in modern Hebrew. We just do the pilpel, like you double the root. Pilpel. So Gilgel it means I have rolled. Gilgalti. Gilgalti. This is this is the accent. Gilgalti. It's almost like PL, but it's got the doubled roots. Gilgalti. I have rolled. You rolled something. So I have rolled the shame, cherpat Mitzrayim, the shame of Egypt, from upon you. I have rolled it away. And he called. That's I guess it's Joshua. This is subject, I guess. God is naming the place. I don't know. He called the name of that place Gilgal. Gilgal from Gilgalti. Gilgalti. I have rolled. Ad hayom hazeh. He called the name of the place Gilgal. That's the place because the circumcision represented letting go of the Egyptian way of life, I guess. I've rolled away from you the shame of Egypt, or the disgrace of Egypt, how you would define cherpa. Any questions on that one? Pretty clear, I think. Galoti is an interesting form. There are a lot of words where we insert ot in the biblical form. Ot, oti, ota. Like lehakim from kum. We had the word kum, hikim earlier. Hikim is he raised up, he caused to stand, hikim. If I want to say I did it. Okay, we don't say 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪, but okay, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪. But in the biblical text, instead of 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪, the normal form actually inserts an O inside of that, and it says 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪. That's supposed to be a mem, sorry. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪 means 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪. And for some reason, we insert this O vowel into a lot of stems, like we wouldn't expect this. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪, where's the O from? I don't know, but it's fun. It's an infix that appears in a lot of past tense verbs that have either doubled roots or roots that lose something, like middle weak. Yep.
I just happened to read 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗧 chapter on the Geminate roots today, and they just explain it. And I'm sure I know you use the textbook, so I'm sure you've read it. But they explain it as with the Geminate roots, if both of the lameds, for in this case, were present, and then you add the consonantal endings of T to it, you have three consonants, three consonant cluster, and so they say that O is just there to break that up, is how they explain it. But I just happened to read
if you think of 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪 works just fine. 𝗥𝗘𝗪 is how we say it in modern Hebrew. 𝗥𝗘𝗪. Oh, I didn't circle that. I was writing on the wrong screen. 𝗥𝗘𝗪 is how we say it in modern Hebrew. hu 𝗥𝗘𝗦, ani 𝗥𝗙𝗪𝗚, ata 𝗥𝗙𝗪𝗚. But there's no reason why we should have it 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪.
Yeah, like I said, that was for the Geminate roots that they were explaining. But
yeah, excellent. But that would be an interesting chapter to go over. By the way, I wrote to Rebecca, on one of the authors of the book, Rebecca Josberger, and I told her that I love their book, first of all. But secondly, one thing that I really was frustrated about was the way that they left everything at the end for the Geminates, for the weak radicals, for all of that, because it seems like they have so much going on in the book, and it's wonderful, and then they're just like, okay, here's a chapter on this, a chapter on that, chapter on that, chapter on that, and it's just to finish it. But the language is so full of these weak roots. And every story that you're going to read in the Bible, you have to understand what's happening with these roots. And so why leave it to the end of the book? It should have been mixed in. That's one thing that, one criticism that I have. But it's an excellent textbook. We're talking about this one, Learning Biblical Hebrew by Carl Kutz and Rebecca Josberger. Really good. Yeah. Okay, any questions? All right. Hebrew it is. We are on 5:10. Joshua 5:10. Here we go. We're back to you, Adele. Yeah.
ויחנו בני ישראל בגלגל, ויעשו את הפסח ב14 יום לחודש בערבות Yericho. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and they did the Passover. In the 40 day.
Not 40?
In the fourth day?
14.
14. On the 14th day of the month, or the new month.
And what month would that be?
Nisan, right? Is it?
Nisan, which they called at that time Aviv. Aviv,
sure, right, yeah.
Aviv
in the evening,
equals Nisan.
in the evening.
Mhm.
In the evening of Jericho. Yericho, is it Jericho?
Well, 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗥𝗡 Yericho is like probably like the plains of like that area. I think.
Okay.
Let's see how it's handled. Where is translation? Here's a translation. On the evening of the 14th day of the month, while camped at Gilgal on the plains of Jericho, the Israelites celebrated Passover. The plains of Jericho. Sounds good. Yeah. It's related to the word Arava, which is, I don't know if you're aware, Arava is like a part of the desert outside of, I guess it's part of Israel, Arava. Yeah, so in the plural, Aravot becomes Aravot Yericho. 14, 14 is what you have with masculine nouns, 14. Feminine is 14. 14. That's 14. 14. 14 נשים, but 14 אנשים, or 14 ish. What is the verb here? The verb at the beginning, ויחנו.
Yeah.
You said it.
In camp, right? In camp, right? Chana.
Yeah. Chana. Yeah. To make camp. Today in modern Hebrew it means to park. Like where did you park? I parked on level 1. Parked. Chaniti. But because it means like to stop somewhere and to settle in where you are. So that's in modern Hebrew we also have it in the hifil. The hifil will take an object, like you say, I parked the car. Where did you park the car? החניתי את האוטו ב-1, wherever it is. Notice that we are lacking the dagesh kal in Bnei Yisrael, which is Vnei Yisrael, because of the mercha and tipcha. It's a pair. So this is conjunctive leading into the next one, and that ends in a vowel. So because they're joined, it loses the dagesh. Notice that the tipcha is disjunctive, so the beged kefet takes the dagesh here. ויעשו את הפסח ב-14 יום לחודש בערב. בערב in the evening, because you do Passover in the evening on the 14th as it goes into the 15th of Nisan. Very nice. I think it's going to tell us in a second that this is the first time. Nope, maybe not. Okay, great. 5:10. It's in the books. Anybody have any comments? We're just barreling through. Anybody want to say something from, the peanut gallery? That's not very nice. From the comment section. Guys, we know you're there. Rasmus is here. Muriel is here. Hebrew Torah 101 is here. But please give us some comments and what you think. Anything you would add if you were participating today. 5:11. I guess this one is me. Who's next? I've lost
Should
track.
be me.
It's you.
Okay. ויאכלו מעבור הארץ ממחרת
Okay,
הפסח.
this is definitely O.
Oh yeah, look at
Right.
that.
And so the one in front of it is also.
Yeah. ממחרת פסח מצות וכלו בעצם היום הזה. Yeah, there's a whole vowel system there to tell me that that's an O, and I just went right over it, didn't I? And they ate from the produce of the land
Okay.
on the day after the next day after Passover. The unleavened bread and parched grain. Parched grain. It's just parched, but I think it's in the
or roasted. I think it's roasted. I don't know. Parched roasted. I don't know what that means. I know that when we have roasted peanuts, botnim kluyim, botnim matuganim, fried peanuts. I don't know. Kalui is what you do with nuts. You roast them, or seeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know what these words mean. I don't know what roasted means in English, so I don't know how I'm supposed to know what it means in Hebrew. What's roasted? Just means you put them over a fire, right? Isn't it the same thing as cooked? I don't know. I'm not a good cook. I don't know anything about kitchen.
I think the general idea is roasted just means there's heat applied in some way with that liquid.
Yeah,
that's the way it's a dry heat.
Be'etzem hayom hahu. This is great. Do you know this expression? Be'etzem, etzem.
It's like that same day, or
etzem came to mean self. Etzem came to mean like self, and so if you say atzmi, this is from rabbinic time on. Atzmi, atzmo, atzmecha. Atzmi is myself. Ani ro'eh et atzmi, I see myself. So etzem hayom hazeh, or etzem hayom hahu, would be that very day, that day itself, the self of that day, the self of this day. But etzem generally in the Bible, etzem normally means bone, a bone.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Is it ever used with the hitpael? Do you happen to know that off the top of your head?
Hitpael, hitatzem. I think that means to become great. Remember, atzum. Atzum is great. Atzum.
Mm-hmm. I meant like the nominal form, like any, if saying like I. Just using it as a pronoun. I was just curious. It's a silly question, but
no, this is used with other binyanim, like say shitafti et atzmi. No, you can't. אני לא משתף את עצמי, משתף אחרים במה שאני לא יודע. שטפתי את עצמי, I washed myself, but you could say, I don't know. Et atzmi is used most of the time to mean myself. The hitpael, as doing it to yourself, is less. Like litkaleach means like you take a shower, and it has the idea of, yourself in it.
Yeah.
Lekaleach is to wash, to give a shower to someone. Lekaleach, or to something like you. Mekaleach et 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡, you wash the dog in the shower, or the cat, hatul. Or you can say kilachti et atzmi, I showered myself. Hitkalachti, I took a shower. That's the normal, I took a shower. But kilachti et atzmi is like more like you would do it to someone else, but you're doing it to yourself.
Okay.
Gilachti latzmi et harosh, I shaved my own head. Gilachti le'atzmi et harosh. But hitgalachti means I shaved, like hitgalachti.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a neat word, etzem.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm just like those differences between those two things. Like I hear in the English, and I just didn't know. That's all. I was just it's just like how it actually be used, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very cool. All right, we are going to verse number 11. Well, let's think about word order. Vayochlu, vav consecutive, so there's nothing special. It is where it has to be. Avur haaretz, Avur used as produce. May means from, some of, right? It's partitive min. Avur haaretz. What's the normal word for produce? We've seen it many times. No, not tavor. Let's see. Produce. By the way, do you know how to search for things in English? In what's it called? In Dictionary of Classical Hebrew or Halot or something like that. You can just hit the Control F for search and type your English word that you want to find. Produce. Okay, and then you just go through it and see if it hits the entry. Very neat. But of course, all the introduction of it's going to say, produce, production, reproduce, and all of that because it's the beginning of the book. So here, produce, 𝗕𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗧𝗏. That's the word I was looking for. 𝗕𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗏. All right. Well, let's get out of this. Go back. Do you use halot or halot, whatever it's called? Yep. Good. It's a good one.
Hello, everyone.
Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, we have two because we didn't mark it this week.
Well, because Luke is not feeling well.
That's good.
So produce here is avur, foreign grain.
I am roasting in my room. Roasting.
Atakalui, you are roasted.
Yeah, because they only have
just talked
heat.
About that word.
They only have heat or air conditioning, and since it's 50 degrees outside and not 20 degrees outside, it really sucks.
I have my window open in the back because it was hot in here, so I'm cooling
My
off.
window is stuck.
Nice. All right, let's keep going. Jonathan, you want to take us away with verse 12?
All right. Vayeshbot Haman mimacharot. Nope. Mochorot. Mochorat. There we go. Mimochorat ba'ochlam me'avur haaretz v'lo haya od livnei Yisrael man vayochlu mituvuat eretz Canaan b'shana hahi.
See, there we got 𝗕𝗚𝗏. That's the word I was looking for before, for the produce. All right, Vayishbot.
So, is this Haman, or not?
No, this isn't
somebody,
the book of Esther.
Huh?
We're not in the book of Esther. We're in Joshua.
Yeah. So somebody rested or ceased
this is
or something. Huh? What did you say?
Manna. What? Manna is what? What?
Oh.
What is it?
So, yeah. Oh, manna?
Man. Man is the Hebrew for manna. Manna is what you say in English.
Oh, I thought it was manna. What is it?
No, in Hebrew is a portion. Like something, if you eat a portion of something. Rasmus says, hello, Jonathan. Hello there.
Hello there, Rasmus.
So Vayishbot is related to, what's it remind you of?
Sabbath.
Shabbat.
Yep.
Shvita. Shvita, yep. To a strike. If you're going on the strike. Vayishbot is it stopped. It ceased.
So the manna start on the next day or something like that?
The manna ceased from the next day.
Yeah, the manna ceased from the next day. in their tents? No, from their when they ate or from their eating. When they ate from the me'avur.
Produce.
From the they ate the produce of the land. But hayao, there was still not livnei
The od here means anymore.
the people of Israel were not that's not right.
Man is the subject.
So manna was still not, they still did not have manna.
So od should not be still here, it should be anymore.
Oh, okay. So they didn't have manna anymore. So they ate mitavat.
The children of Israel did not have manna anymore.
Uh-huh. So they ate the produce of the land of Canaan on that year, or in that year.
Yeah, so they've crossed over the Jordan, they've entered into the promised land, and then the manna stopped appearing for them. Because the manna was...
My professor would probably say that this is bad writing because it repeats itself.
Then you should read the book of Numbers. Because we're doing daily reading, and I'm now in the book of Numbers, and if anybody ever said that parchment is expensive, and therefore authors in ancient times wanted to be succinct and to save space, then they did not read the book of Numbers, because there is so much waste. There's so much waste, and it repeats the same line again and again and again, just like the same paragraph is repeated by the next one. It's just got a different name and different set of numbers. Why couldn't you just put that in a table and make it really quick and easy to read? But that's just my complaint. וישבות המן ממחרת ואוכלה מעבור הארץ. All right, great. So when they came in, and even before they took the city of Jericho, the manna stopped appearing for them. All right. Did I read? No, that was Colton. So now it's me. 13. Vayhi biyot Yoshua. Okay, Vayhi biyot Yoshua biricho. Vayisa enav vayar. V'hinei ish omed lenegdo. V'charbo shlufa biyado. Vayelech Yoshua elav. Vayomer lo. Halanu ata im letzarenu. Okay, so again, we've got this vayehi sticking out there, and it happened, and it was, but we don't need it, right? When Joshua was in Jericho, in the being of Joshua in Jericho, when Joshua was in Jericho, he lifted his eyes and he saw. Always whenever I hear lifted eyes, I think of that, I will lift up, if I could sing, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. Remember? From the Psalms?
No.
Do you have COVID again? No, I don't have COVID. I have a head cold. It's just annoying. Yeah. So he lifted his eyes and saw. It means he looked up. V'hinei ish omed lenegdo. Neged is across from neged. A man standing opposite him. He looks up and he sees a guy standing in front of him. And his sword, charbo cherev, sword, cherev, shlufa. Lishlof is to pull out, like to draw it out. Cherev is feminine. So charbo shlufa, his sword drawn, biyado, in his hand. His sword drawn in his hand. Shlufa, lishlof, to pull something out. Vayelech Yoshua elav. Joshua went up to him. Joshua went, and he said to him, Vayomer lo, Ha, this is asking a question. Is it the case? It's just a question. Ha. Lanu ata. Lanu ata. You are for us. Are you for us? That means, are you on our side? Are you for us? Im here means or, for our enemies. Are you for us or for our enemies? Sarim, enemies. This is used a lot in the Psalms to refer to enemies. Any questions about that? Lishlof. I really think that verb is fantastic. Lishlof. To draw, to pull out. You draw a gun, you draw a sword, lishlof. And that's this word shlufa. Shlufa is the passive, the called passive adjective, the meaning it has been drawn, it is drawn in his hand. Any questions? No? There are only 15 verses in this chapter, so we're got 2 verses left for
Doing good, huh?
Chapter 6 is the fall of Jericho, so we are moving quite along. All right. Back to Adele for 5:14.
Okay. Vayomer Loki ani sar tzava Adonai. Ata ba'iti vayapol Yehusha va'iti.
No, va'iti, vati.
Vati.
The aleph is quiescent. It means it doesn't have any value.
Vayapol Yehusha el banav arza. Vayishtahu vayomer lo ma Adonai maddaber Adoni maddaber al avdo. And he said, no, because I am Sar Tzava Adonai, the servant or the army. No, Sar is the person that serve an army, right? Like the
Sar is generally a minister. A minister, a prince.
Yeah. And one who is a minister of God of hosts, the Lord of hosts.
Oh, the minister of the army of God.
The army of God, yeah.
So he's like a leader in the army.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the first time, I think, it's the first time in the biblical text where we hear this idea that God has an army that has individual angelic beings in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously this appears later in different texts. Like we saw it when we read the story of Elijah, remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We used that John Cook and Robert Homestead book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it had the army of God appearing, if I remember correctly. But this is the prince of the army of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bati, Bati, then I came, or thus I came. Now I came, right?
I have come now. Yeah.
I've come now.
Abba is now.
Joshua.
I would take I'd probably take the key here as but rather, like ki'im.
Mm-hmm.
Ki'im.
Mm-hmm.
Like but, because he says, are you on our side or on our enemy side? He says, no, but I am the Satan, I have come now.
Sure.
You
know? And Joshua fell on his face toward earth, to earth or to the ground, and he worshipped him. And
I don't know if he worshipped, because you don't want to worship an angel.
Prostrate to him, or bow down to him.
Paid homage or bowed down, but worship is probably carrying too much weight for that word.
Yeah, that's what DDB says, but from Shacha, because they didn't have the Ugaritic texts that talked about HT shin verbs. or hishtafel verbs.
So Vayomer here would be the Sar, not Yahusha, right? Yahushua, right? Vayomer lo ma Adoni medaber el
It's Joshua speaking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he said, no, why, my Lord?
What?
What, my Lord?
Speaks.
Speak to his servant, right?
To his servant, yeah. What is my Lord speaking to his servant? In other words, what message do you have? It's very common in the old world, let's say the old world, the ancient world, to kind of debase yourself, and instead of saying, what does my Lord have to say to me, or what would you like to tell me, what message do you have for me, you elevate the person speaking, and you don't just say, what do you, but you say, my Lord, and you make it third person. What does my Lord speak to his servant? I am your servant. I am my Lord's servant. So you're elevating the person that you're talking to by calling him my Lord, and you're debasing yourself by calling yourself a slave. Very common speech in the ancient world. Yeah.
Okay.
Even though obviously Joshua is not the slave of this angel, right? The angel is not Joshua's master. But
why there are two makafs back to back and start Tzava Adonai? What should be
I don't understand what?
The
construct
makaf.
chain. Yeah, it's a construct chain. But it doesn't.
I don't know where we're looking at. Tzava Adonai.
Yeah, he's wondering why there's two makafs consecutively, but that's not unusual.
Okay.
Two makafs, because basically the Masoretes were inserting makaf as well as 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗥𝗡, and as well as all of the notations for trope. All of these were signs for the Masorete the Masoretes that belong together. So what makaf does is it joins words together so that they share an accent. So here we have Revi'i, Tvir, Mercha, Tipcha, Munach, Etnachta. This whole phrase has one trope mark, which is the Tipcha. So what they were doing is they were basically saying, I don't know the trope for the Haftarah, like I don't know how it's supposed to sound, but I would say, like for the Torah, it's like Tivir, Mercha Tipcha Munach Etnachta. So Mercha Ani Sar Tzva Adonai Hatavati. Like this, it's just to make this one tone when you sing it together. If it could still be construct without the makaf, it could still be construct because you don't need the makaf, but then each word would have a different tone. Each word would have a different accent. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they just wanted that to be one accented phrase, like that would all share one tone, and so they did. By the way, there are sometimes words that have more than one accent, and it happens a lot with these two, munach and katon. If you could, for instance, maybe find munach and katon together on one word. Like it happens quite a lot. Vayishtachu. I've lectured many times to people about this word, vayishtachu, where it comes from. What is the word? The word is Ishtachava. Ishtachava, right? Yeah.
Either
Okay.
chava.
The future. Future. 𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗡. To make the jussive, which is the apocryphated imperfect, the apocryphated 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗛, you would drop this. This is shva, right? All shvas are shva. So this is shva. 𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗢. The vav is just hanging out on the end. Accent is here. 𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗢. The v, w. It doesn't like that. What happens with this is that it's resolved as u. It's a consonant cluster. I think that originally when we have takhwa, it was resolved initially by adding the segol, but it's with a guttural. So instead of segol, it's patach. Tachau, and the ow becomes u when it's unstressed. Yishtachu, vayishtachu, and he bowed down. It's singular, even though it ends in u. How would it look if it were they bowed down? It would be vayishtachavu on the end. On the end, it would be yishtachavu with a vav. It has that's they bowed down. Vayishtachavu, the accent on the end. Vayishtachavu, they bowed down. Vayishtachu, he bowed down. Brilliant. Comments, questions, contentions? All right. Let's see. This is one verse back. Okay, that was me, Adele, and this would be Colton.
Yeah.
The last verse in the chapter. Woohoo!
Woo! ויאמר שר צבא אדוני אל יהושע שנעלך מעל רגליך כי המקום אשר אתה עומד עליו קודש הוא. ויעש יהושע כן.
Vayas. Yeah.
Another fantastic segolic construction by Yahas. Good. Vayomer. So this one doesn't have the makaf, right? In this position. And what do we have as far as the trope? We've got 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗥 ve'azla. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗥 ve'azla. But this is one tone phrase, and then the word Adonai is its own. So they could have chosen to do it however they wanted to. It depends on how they wanted to phrase it for the trope, for the phraseology. All right.
And the prince of the army of the Lord said to Joshua, take off your sandal from upon your foot. For the
That's
place...
funny, right? Your sandal singular, your foot singular. That's so he only wore one shoe.
Yeah, I had to double check and make sure I wasn't like facing when I read it, but yeah, for the place which you are standing upon it, it is holy. Overly literalistic. And Joshua did thus.
Well, if you're going to be literalistic, then Kodesh is a noun. You say the place upon which you're standing is holiness.
Holiness. Fine.
Yeah. Does this remind you of any other verse from the Bible?
Exodus.
Yeah.
Only.
Remember Exodus chapter 3. Let's take a look at that real quick if we've got... let's see. Exodus. My goodness, give me English. Exodus 3. All right. This one. ויאמר אל תקרא בלום, של נעליך מעל רגליך. This is the plural. Moses was wearing 2 shoes on his 2 feet, but Joshua was wearing 1 shoe on 1 foot.
He's half the man that
Maybe-
Moses was.
Maybe this should teach us that Joshua was peg leg. He only had one real foot. He was like a pirate. All right, fantastic. I think that's good. I don't think we need to go further because we finished the chapter. Next, we have chapter 6, verse 1. We're going to start leading into the fall of Jericho in the next chapter. Anybody got any questions or anything before we let go? We're right now at 1 hour and a minute.
Thank you for letting us in.
Yeah, it's fun. Not done this session
Thanks.
before.
Yeah, right?
Put me in the spot like translating the fly. I haven't prepared anything, but it's. I don't think it did too bad, but it's okay.
Well, thank you guys for stepping in. That was really nice. The Peshitta, Rasmus says, the Peshitta, which is the Syriac, the Aramaic version of the translation of the Bible, it was Christian translation, of course, has a plural form of sandal and foot here in this verse. Very cool. I don't have access to the Peshitta, actually. I would love to have it. Like, there used to be a great free Peshitta site for the Gospels online, and it went offline. It was really good. But I don't have it in Logos. Maybe I should buy it. Thank you guys so much. Please come back next week. In half an hour, we are going to do Wine Green, English to Hebrew, exercise 10. So please join us. We'll see you guys in a little while. Like we always say, Am Yisrael Chai. And we hope for peace very soon.
When
Bye,
are we
guys.
meeting
Thank you.
again? 6:30?
Yes, in half an hour.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
I will see you
Thank you.
before then.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye.
Thank